Hello, I'm Anna Leparacci, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Spi-Sci, the channel where science meets spirituality. In this video, I'm going to talk about the confusion of definition of words. Why? Because when we attempt to define science versus spirituality, we might come to the conclusion that the boundaries between these two concepts start to fade away, and the difference is these two concepts might not be that different as we think they are. So let me start with some statistics. I'm gonna use some notes, so please forgive me if I use um, some paper. The US book reading statistics says that in the USA, there are about 64% of Americans who read books, while in the world, we're about 50-70% of people. Why am I emphasizing reading? Because reading helps us understand the definition of words, helps us enrich our vocabulary, and by defining, we can better have a better interpretation of a reality. Um, of course, if we look at like the sacred scriptures, there can be different levels of interpretation from metaphorical, analogical, figurative, metaphorical, etc. But to keep it simple, let me come back to some examples of confusion of definitions. Around me, this is just an innocuous example of the word illegal. It's funny how just this last year I've been hearing, of course, I know the word illegal since I was a child, but this last year has been having a different interpretation. It shows how some words can slightly change their meaning over time, but doesn't mean it's the objective meaning. And this is one example, illegal. The objective meaning would be go against the law. But today, I hear it among my coworkers, among my friends, as something just going against rules, or certain standard procedures. I heard a coworker say, "Oh, I believe this is illegal, for against the standard procedure." I'm like, does it mean it goes against the law? I don't know. So that's one level of confusion. And then, people, when a person t tells me, "Oh, I don't read," I ask them, "Why? But why don't you read?" I can't read. Objectively, if you can't read, it means that anything that I put in front of you is you're not able to literally go read word by word. But they're not saying this. What they're really saying is that if you put a book in front of me, after a few pages, my attention span goes down. After a few pages, I'm not able to understand what's written there anymore because I'm not able to, I don't have the right vocabulary. My vocabulary is not vast. Thus, after a certain point, I don't understand. So, I'm not understanding the meaning of certain words. Um, and this creates a confusion on the subconscious level that, in the end, as a result, creates a confusion of identity of who we are. So, what do you stand for? What are your values? Know thyself, as the Oracle of Delphi would say. So, this definition, or in this case, not knowing who you are, creates an identity crisis. And this is linked to the confusion of definitions because the definition of yourself is lacking. You don't know even who yourself are. Isn't it funny that we know everything around us except ourselves? And so we've been having this epistemological approach where we know everything around us, we have all this knowledge, but not the knowledge of the self, which is a more ontological approach. So let me share with you the Oracle of Delphi that I believe has been written in the 8th century before Christ. Let me see if I could share my screen here. Share, share, share. Where's the share? Okay, share button. Share screen. Read these words. You who wish to probe the depths of nature. If you do not find within yourself that which you seek, neither will you find it outside. If you ignore the wonders of your own house, how do you expect to find other wonders? In you is hidden the treasure of treasures. Know thyself, and you will know the universe and the gods. If we pay attention to the words here, also in this case, they're not starting with know the universe and the gods and know thyself. That would be the epistemological approach that we're in the modern society today we are using. The ontological approach would be start with yourself, know your identity, know who you are. And this is imperative, especially in the era of AI, where the distinction between reality and fiction starts to fade away. And when everything else around us collapses, then the question is, who is left? You are left, the knowledge of yourself. This explains why this confusion of definition in the end is creating so many mental issues on the rise today. And these are due to identity, crisis of identity, crisis of the self, not knowing who we are in the end. And I'm gonna refer again to my notes. So I was saying that, isn't it funny that we tend to know everything except ourselves? And so that's, I believe, the solution is to start with an ontological approach. And this is my question that I'm going to leave to you. And I hope you can let me know what you think about. And the question is this: how is it possible to know everything except yourself? Do you think that not knowing yourself won't have any impact on society? Let me know what you think. Thank you and see you next time.